Hello. So, 2023 is over, but I've decided that to wrap up at least a year and kick off the new year, I'm going to do a tier list of like all the media I consumed last year, at least what I can remember, and just do a massive tier list of like all of it to see what I like and what I didn't. And it's just what I can remember. Like, there's probably a bit more, but this is like the stuff that came out last year, I consumed last year, or at least like the big stuff I finished and had last year. You know, some of what I saw in theatres, what I read, comics. Not really much games, because the only game I played was Minecraft and TF2, but that's like it. If they were that, they'd go here. This list is basically just what I would consider great. You know, we'll see years from now brought up in like retrospects and such. Good as in, it's good so far. It may become better next year, but it's good. Mixed is stuff which I know people liked, but I didn't like. Bad is just like god awful shit. And No Never Again is reserved for only one film, which is The Creator. I remember this coming out. I remember someone saying it looks great, and I remember thinking, oh, it's great Hollywood can make a new film, but it is just the most boring film I saw last year. I cannot remember what it was about, and it feels so generic. It should have been like a game or something. Like, it is one of the most boring films I have ever seen come out in recent years. I'm going to just do this randomly, because it's going to be controversial here, but Mort. Now, my dad read Terry Pratchett to me when I was younger, and I've always liked the books. They all look fantastic with their covers. And I started this because it was early enough in like the Discworld saga, where everything's still new, and it's good. But I find it hard to read, because I'm not sure if this is me coming out of my child phase or whatever, but like, I prefer when books are divided in chapters and easy to follow. Because like, some do that, and others don't. Like, most of these books here do something with that. You know, they all have easy enough to follow, but then others are just more difficult. I don't know, it's just something I've noticed. We're going to do the next one. Yellowface. I thought it was mixed. I think the only one out of all these that's original, not adapted. And this was a good book, but it's held back by flaws. I'm going to link a video after this for you to watch, where someone who's way more knowledge goes into detail on it, but it's good. Like, I can see an adaptation doing this justice if given the right chance to change bits. Otherwise, not really. I Am Superman. Great. One of the best autobiographies I've read. Truly great. Even if you're not like a fan of J. Michael Straczynski, it somehow contains a narrative arc that is more fulfilling than some of the books I read for the junior cert. Rebel of Our Cause. I remember seeing this recommended on Cinemassacre years ago, on like some massive retrospective of books, and I always wanted to buy one, and I got it just before Book Depository closed, and it's good. Like, it is just good. Actually, no. It goes here. It's good, and it has a great first part, good behind the scene tips, but not as good as this, and just okay. I've been reading The High Republic for a bit, and I've had this for a while, but I just haven't sat down and finished it, and now that I have, I can say it's good. Like, it's not bad, it's just, it feels like it's trying to advance the story, but mix in all the other stuff going on around the multimedia project. It's just okay. The Road, perfect. I read this when I was trying to work out some apocalyptic film I was trying to make, and it's one of the most heartbreaking novels that I've read. Like, Maud had my attention going in different directions. This worked. Like, I don't mind the fact these don't have chapters dividing them properly. It's just one is singularly focused, the other one is bouncing around. It's hard to follow who's who. World War Z. I'm going to put it in great because I found it really fun. Like, I've watched the film once and I thought that was shit and I thought the book would be crap with how it was described. But no, the book's good. Not perfect, but like good. If you know me in real life, you know I like the Transformers, and yeah, there's a reason for this. I like the new Image stuff so far. I like this. I think it will enter some phase next year where it blows in popularity. Like, we see this blow up as some big new indie title or something. But I don't know. Void Rivals as well. I'm going to put this down as mixed. This is going to be controversial because this is, you know, the guy who did The Walking Dead and such on this, but I don't care much for this. I care about it in relation to this, but I don't care much for Void Rivals on their own. And if it doesn't progress in any way past issue 12, I'm going to drop it. But it's gone on a hiatus for the first couple of months here until March. So I don't know how to feel about it. Well, the gods... The only reason I read it this year was because I've been following DCeased for a long time. Like, from the very beginning I followed it, but this is just alright. It's just wrapping up loose ends and all the stuff that happened from the beginning. It's the end of DCeased, so it's the only reason I picked it up. Moon Knight, I'm going to say mixed. I liked the initial stuff up to issue 12, and I followed it this year and I found it okay, but it's not hitting the same high as it used to me. Maybe it's just my disillusionment with Marvel, but this is the only title I followed from them from the beginning, and I stuck with it for that reason. Void Rivals, I'll go with mixed because I like the comic. I like the first couple of issues. They do so much good, interesting stuff where it feels like they actually made it in this decade. Instead of just resurrecting old tropes, they take them and make them something unique. The characters feel realistic in an actual way of these could live in our modern times instead of archetypes. But this year's comics just felt weird to me. Like, they had a big vote this year, you know, to determine who will become the Radiant Black permanently out of the characters in the comic. And they haven't done that, and they divide the comic in like 25A, 25B to have like one character take it in one issue, another in the other, and you have to buy both to read the full war story they're trying to tell, and so strange. And feels to me like a cash grab. And I really don't like that, especially because the one I voted for won, and he hasn't become the Radiant Black. At least, you know, properly, which is a shame. Invincible, we only got like 5 episodes this year, so I'm going to say good, mixed. Actually, not good. I like it. I'm happy we have an action cartoon about this, but it's... Well, I've read the comic, and I can say that I just don't really mind anymore. Like, I'm not sure. Maybe it sucked the joy of me knowing what's going to happen, but just doesn't feel great. DS9, this is going to cheat a little bit, because I read it... Well, actually, I watched it this year over the summer, along with a bunch of other Star Trek, but I'm only putting it here because it impacted me, and... perfect. Like, 100% perfect. The only good representation of Ireland. One of the best Star Trek shows of all time, and one that deserves, like, a follow-up film or something. Just bring Cisco back, for fuck's sake. FNAF. I'll put it on good. I liked FNAF, and I was there in the beginning. I'd scared my sister a lot, but it never really caught me as, like, the best. And I thought they wouldn't make a film, or it'd be like all the other ones, you know, Willy's Wonderland, the Banana Splits film, that came out as well. Those were made from abandoned scripts, and I thought this would be like a box office bomb or failure, but no, it's good. I like the animatronics being practical, and I feel that's a good direction for, films and such. Didn't really care much else for it. It's good, but it should have been like 15s instead of a 12 film just for the small fans. Mandalorian. I liked The Mandalorian, and I think the first 2 seasons were great, but this one just felt by the numbers. Like, they combined 2 different arcs, The pirates for the first 4 episodes, then we have to reclaim Mandalore being immediately after. I think if this was a bit more spaced properly, it could be good, but it just feels so awkward. Along that episode on a scientist, I don't know why they had to come in episode to that, but that just felt strange. Radiant Pink. I liked it a bit more than War of the Gods, but it didn't feel essential. Like, all the Radiant spin-offs so far felt boring. Like, Radiant Pink, Red, just dull. I wouldn't mind Yellow, only because I like his powers, and the one issue he had in the main series was fantastic, but Pink just never gave it to me. I'm going to put these 2 in the same category, which is, great films. Great stuff. I wish I watched them back to back, because I watched this first, then Barbie. And all I gotta say would be, I cannot wait for this to become like a double screening somewhere, where this is shown, then this, or it's mixed around. Puss in Boots. Ooh. Good. I watched this to kick off the films last year in February in Ireland, and I can just say this film was just perfect. Like, this is the direction I think animation's going into. If this is a minor film, or like, a blip on their radar, I cannot wait for what's coming next. It just looks good. The story is great. It is one of the best films I saw last year. One of the few animated films, as you see in this. Ahsoka. Mixed. I like the idea of what they're doing in it, and it is a shame the actor playing Balin passed away, but the show just doesn't feel great, if you know what I mean. It feels like it's a cornerstone going from the Mandalorian stuff to more Jedi mystics, but it's just dull. I wish it was animated, and it's a shame it isn't. Rise of the Beasts. A-list. But I like the comic. I like the Rise of the Beast. It's good. Like, I know people say it's bad. They're wrong. Don't get into them. Breaking Bad. A-list. I finished it this year. Along with El Camino. It's just consider it's like the same one. Doctor Who. Perfect. Like, I taught the... Actually, I'm going to have a look at them there. I taught the Star Beast was good. Like, it's really fun. We have a story in, like, every medium now. Like, books, radio, CD, so-and-so. Like, it was a good start, but it felt alright. While Blue Yonder was just perfect. Like, you get all the money in the world and you do, like, an episode running up and down a hall. And the giggle was perfect. Like, I don't know how, but every episode blew up further than the last. Like, you think he's topped himself, but no, it goes further, and Russell T Davies has made this era so fun so far. And Church on Ruby Road is a great start to this new Doctor. I absolutely like him. I cannot wait to see more. Evangelion, just everything perfect. Like, perfect. Yeah, this makes sense. I liked it. I have issues with some of it, but it's good. Guardians of the Galaxy. I liked it. It felt... I don't know, it feels like it's Marvel from a couple of years ago. Like it's wrapping up the story, but leaving enough open, but just enough. Like, this is the end. I hope we don't see them come back. I don't want another film. I just want the Guardians to be around the galaxy whenever they do future films. I'm going to pick this. The Mario Bros. Film I didn't like. I don't need to explain much, but I never found it great. Like, it's good, it's there, it's just, I do not care for it in any way. Cocaine Bear, though, I quite liked. Like, I quite like this film, and I hope it becomes some favourite film in years to come. It's just really funny. Like, the story it's based on, it doesn't happen, the bear died, but, you know, Cocaine Bear, that's fun. Indiana Jones, barely makes it as something I'd watch, but I do not care for it at all. Like, it's fun to see Harrison Ford come back to a film series he likes, but this is just dull. It is disappointing. Like, if I ever get a chance to remake this film, and I don't know if I would, or, you know, there's revisions to make, I would have changed a lot. Oh shit, I would have changed a lot, because it's just dull. And that about wraps up the iceberg. Like, this is everything I watched and read, or at least most of it. I think the only stuff I missed was Nemone, wherever the cancelled Blue Sky film was, which I'd probably rank as at least great or good. I wouldn't call it perfect, but it's alright. Trying to think of the other stuff I watched. Or just like random stuff I may have forgotten. Hang on. Wouldn't... Treads. I watched Treads this year and that scared the shit out of me. Have a look at some other stuff. I tried reading Fantastic Four this year properly. Like, following the new comic, and I just gave up. Same with Superman. I know they're all great and fantastic, but they just don't move enough for me. And I never cared for them. Just dull. And that's about it I can think of. That's the end of the video. So, you know, like, subscribe, everything. Like, I'll make more videos soon. It's just school and college, whatever the fuck it's called internationally. And, you know, expect some videos on some of this stuff. I might make a video on, like, Radiant Black eventually, but I'm not sure when. I'll wait till, like, the current arc is over. So, you know, good afternoon, good evening, and goodbye.